Let's bring in City News business editor Kris McCusker for a look at the day's top business stories. Kris, Canada's inflation rate is falling, but you wouldn't know it if you walked into a grocery store.
Yes, that is very true. So we did see a drop in the headline inflation, Erica, a bigger than expected drop actually for June, and mostly because of lower gas prices. So this was the big weight, although in fairness, this time last year, gas prices were close to records. Not really a fair comparison. The overall inflation rate tumbling to 2.8% in June, but yes, food prices jumped by 9%. So let's look at some of these spikes individually here. So meat up by almost 7%, dairy products up by more than 7%, bakery products up by almost 13%. This really stood out for me. Fresh fruit prices grew at a faster pace in June, 10.4%. That's almost double what we saw in May. And the driving force here, Erica, grapes up by 30% month over month. Now, mortgage interest costs also rising by 30%. This, of course, after back-to-back interest rate hikes in June and July, after the Bank of Canada had earlier paused that aggressive rate hiking cycle. Rent also rising by 6%. So as mentioned, gas prices, the biggest driver to the downside, down by 21%, and cell phone prices dropped by 14.5% compared to a year ago. So overall, the number is coming down, but sector to sector, not so much.
Okay, one software giant is looking to cash in on AI.
Yes, we are talking about Microsoft. So the company held an event today, and the stock did hit an all-time high on Wall Street, a solid spike for shares in Microsoft. And it did unveil some of these sort of changes around Microsoft's Office platforms. A 53% spike in some of the subscriptions, and one analyst describing that perhaps this aggressive pricing, as it was described, is sort of ideally being put in place to sort of help bump up subscriptions. Another thing that Microsoft looking to do, it's going to improve its search engine Bing to better compete with Google. And of course, we all know Google and Google searches. Bing, a little lesser known, but Microsoft looking to spend some money there, and some of the creation around AI and some of its uses within Bing.
Interesting. Okay, and Kris, we know you're a huge Star Wars fan, and that means you're probably not thrilled with this final story.
Yeah. You're not a Star Wars fan?
I am a Star Wars fan. I have to say, I don't know if I'm the biggest one, but I do love Star Wars. Yeah.
Okay, so there was talk in 2020 about a series based on Lando Calrissian, played by Donald Glover. He played that role in the movie Solo, and it was much talked about at the time. But the person writing the series says he's basically been left in the dark. He hasn't heard anything since 2020. He's got no idea what's going on. Now, Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy said at a Star Wars celebration earlier this year, the series was still in the works, and she even said that Glover was very excited about it. The big caveat here, Erica, we have a writer's strike and an actor's strike in Hollywood now, so I'm thinking even if this does get going, it's not going anywhere fast anytime soon.
It could be a while, although that would be an amazing show. I would watch it. Okay.
I know. He's so good.
He's so great. Thanks for that, Kris. That's City News business editor Kris McCusker.